Can you take us back to the beginning, your childhood, what life was like, just so people can get a better understanding of where you're coming from?
It's hard to say it all concisely. I'm actually going to take it before my childhood. And I'm going to take it back to my parents' meeting in university.
Okay.
So my dad is from Gaza. He was living in Gaza when it was under the Egyptian Authority.
Okay.
So he was allowed to go to university for free in Cairo. And that's where he went, and that's where he met my mom. So the two of them are like educated, secular. They're Muslim, but neither of them are religious. They have, like, my mom looks like a Bond girl in her wedding.
Like
They've got
arms
belly dancers.
exposed.
Oh, yeah. Teeny tiny little dress. Like, it's a wedding dress, but she's wearing like the little 60s, those little tiny dresses that they used to wear. And they got married. They moved to San Francisco. So they're living in San Francisco. It's now the peace, love, and hippie era. It's like late 60s. And my dad loves it. Okay. He thinks this is great. And my mom, even though she's open-minded and everything, it's still a lot for coming from a conservative country.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would even be a lot for most of Americans in those days, right? What was going on in San Francisco. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but my dad loved it and my mom hated it. And then they moved to Vancouver, and that's where I was born. And that's also where their marriage fell apart.
Okay.
So Vancouver, Canada. And at that time, my mom is now in Vancouver, Canada. She's got 3 kids. My dad's moved over to the other side of Canada, Montreal, the French-speaking side. Eventually, he remarries, gets 3 new kids, moves on with his life. And my mom somehow gets connected. So now we're talking like early 80s, early to mid 80s. She finds out about this person named Sayyid Qutb, who is a Muslim Brotherhood writer who came to America. For whatever reason, women weren't dancing with him. Women weren't responding to his, whatever, asking them out. So he felt rejected. And he started writing about how America was full of, heathens and infidels, and it's a debaucherous country. And the only thing that can fix it is Islam. Islam huwa al-hal. Islam is the answer. So it's part of the whole Muslim Brotherhood ideology, which is a anti-West, pro-Islam, like spaghetti.
That inspired a lot of Osama bin Laden. Am I correct?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. So my mom picked up on this train when it was just getting started, right?
He was in New York, Sayyid Qutb?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so my mom really, really loved the anti-American stuff because she blamed America for ruining her marriage, ruining her life. She really connected with all of the a bunch of heathens and infidels and, horrible people. She's like, yeah, that's true. And then the pro-Muslim, pro-Islam stuff just kind of was like on for the ride. She just kind of like joined in with that too. She's like, hey, yeah, that's the answer. So this is me just sort of like psychoanalyzing her in just with using what I think might have happened, what I think was going on with her. Cause she went from being she was smart, educated, beautiful, had everything going for her. She came from a very, upper class family in Egypt. She had all the privilege. And she decides to join this Islamist movement, this political Islam movement, with this man that she ended up marrying, a man who took her on as his second wife. He already had a first wife. He already had 3 kids. His first wife was a convert to Islam. He's also Egyptian. So she marries him when I was about 5 or 6 years old. She goes from being this like secular, open-minded woman to putting on hijab, to forcing us into memorizing Quran, praying 5 times a day. This man she married was like the law. He would come in and like beat us if we didn't memorize or if we missed a prayer. He came into our house and was breaking my mom's records. She still loved listening to country music. We had Dolly Parton records playing, or Hank Williams or Kenny Rogers.
The Bill Cosby.
Yes, we did. We had, I mean, he's horrible now, but at the time, we loved listening to the Bill Cosby records. Yeah. And he came in and he broke all of these and handed the shards to us and said, like, break these things because these are from the devil. Music is from the devil. And my mom just stood there as this guy was breaking her stuff. So it was essentially teaching us he's the new law in town, right? Like, she doesn't matter anymore. What he says goes. And that was my childhood. And I hated everything about it. I hated the fact that suddenly everything was haram. Everything was forbidden. I couldn't go swimming anymore. I couldn't ride my bike. I couldn't have birthdays. I couldn't have non-Muslim friends. I couldn't play Barbies with my best friends, Chelsea and Lindsay, who lived down the hall. Like, that's what we did every day after school. And suddenly everything was haram, 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 haram. And as much as I hated it, what are you going to do? I'm a child. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't fight back against this. And it just got worse and worse. Eventually we got put in Islamic schools. We got put in hijab. It just got more and more and more. My mom got more and more religious. She started going to Al-Azhar University, which is a very fundamentalist university in Egypt. She got her master's in Islamic studies and Sharia. She's the head of the Islamic studies department at the Islamic school that I'm attending, that we're all attending. So I have to, we have to get the best grades because we don't want to dishonor her. So that's our whole childhood. And eventually what happened was the money was coming in from Saudi Arabia and it was transforming our community. So initially the imam was a man from India and he was all like, yeah, love thy neighbor and all that kind of stuff. And then the imam came in from Egypt with his wife in full-on niqab. We had never seen that before. Like, we're running around as kids going, oh my God, there's a ninja. Like, what's going on? Right?
Like fully covered.
Fully covered.
Could you see her eyes or no?
Just a slit for her eyes. Okay. And we'd never seen this before. Now this is so common. Like, I ended up wearing niqab for years, right? Like, it just took over. But when it first started, it was kind of jarring and surprising. Like, suddenly everybody's in darker colors. Suddenly it's just the separation between men and women became a lot more, like, before that at the mosque, they were separated. But if we had, like, a park event, like something, no, they weren't. Like, kids and parents were kind of running around all together. Not anymore. Now it's like everything's super segregated. Just became a lot more strict for many different reasons. The khutbah, the sermons on Fridays became a lot more like the infidels, the Jews, the da-da-da, like the kuffar. It was a lot more fire and brimstone.
And this is in Canada.
Yes, this is Vancouver, Canada. I mean, we have the most horrible imams. You got to look up the guy in Victoria, BC. Like, he it's just horrible. We have imams. We don't really have hate speech in Canada. So, like, the imams go crazy with the things that they say. So this was my life. And when I was about 13 years old, there was a gap between the secondary school hadn't been built yet for the Islamic school. So I was allowed to go to a public school because I was finished elementary. And so for that 1 year, I went to a public school, and my mom found out that I had non-Muslim friends when I was there, because I was told, you go to a public school, you're not allowed to have non-Muslim friends. So I'm like, so I had them secretly, and then she found out. And so she was so upset. She said, you're not going back. You're staying home for grade 9. And I was devastated. And so this one teacher of mine, Mr. Fabro, who was my drama teacher, felt like, he's like, something's up with you. Are you okay? So I told him everything, and I showed him the bruises, and I told him everything that was going on in the house. I explained to him that, like, I had been hung upside down and beaten, all of the stuff that's been happening in the house, all over, being too Western or not praying enough or not memorizing Quran enough, like all around the religion.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you explain why you were hung upside down and beaten? That story in the book stuck out.
Yeah, well, that it sounds like it was not that big of a deal why they did it, but in hindsight, I realized like, okay, yeah, so they really were trying to make their point here. So my name is Yasmin, as you mentioned. It's Yasmin in Arabic. And I had written, so it's spelled Yasmin. And I had just written my name in my notebook, Jasmine. I changed one letter. But because I did that, they were so incensed that I should dare to westernize my name. And they really wanted to, I guess, scare me into not wanting to be westernized. I'm born and raised in Canada. I am Canadian. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. They just wanted me to identify as Egyptian or Arab or whatever. You know, what they would say is just because you're born in a barn doesn't make you a horse. You know, just because you're born in Canada doesn't make you Canadian. Well, sorry, I am, you
Well, it
know?
sort of does.
Yeah. And the fact that I changed the letter of my name from Y to J was such a travesty that that was the worst punishment I'd ever gotten throughout my whole childhood was as a result of that action. So that's just to show you, like, you can't in any way step out of line, even the teeniest, tiniest bit. And so that's when they hung me upside down. In Islam, every Eid, every there's like a celebration that they do after Ramadan, and another one that they're both called Eid. There's Eid al-Adha, which is when they slaughter an animal, like to sacrifice it to God, to Allah. And so they have in the garage like this hook that they would hang the Eid lamb or goat or whatever it is that they got. And that's what they hung me on. And they'd hung my brother on that same hook as well.
Oh, did they?
Yep. My brother actually got it more than I did. I only got this happen to me that once. Tie up your ankles, hang you up. And then as you're hanging upside down, he's beating us. And one time when my brother was hanging like that, I went into the garage and I was just like lifting him up and like trying to give him water. I don't know. I thought I was trying to help him and it was making it worse because he's like, you know, crying and there's mucus and he's choking and then I got in trouble
For helping him.
for helping him. Yeah, I was supposed to just like leave him there.
You had said in the book that you had passed out after hanging, and then you woke up to your mom saying, "What are we going to do with the body?"
Yeah, well, she was freaking out. She's like, "What have you done? Like, what are we're going to be in so much trouble now." Like she's worried and nervous and stressed that they might have killed me because now what are they going to do? Like now, it wasn't like my daughter is dead.
Right, right.
I am upset about that fact. It was like, oh my gosh, what are we supposed to do now with this situation? We have a dead girl here. So that's what I'm hearing as I'm coming back to this world that I was just like, I want to go back. You know?
So you told your teacher, you showed him all the markings.
Yeah. And he ended up writing the foreword for my book, Mr. Fabro. So we're still in
It's amazing.
connection. I love him. One of the most wonderful men in the whole wide world. Like, I'm so grateful that he entered my life at that point. So he alerts the police alert child services. It ends up becoming this whole investigation, this whole court case. And in the end, the judge is like, meh, it's your culture. That's how your family chooses to discipline you. Oh, well.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And I was planning on talking about that later, and we can go more into it. I want to hear more about the upbringing, but that's actually insane.
Yeah. Yeah. So after that happened, I was taken out of school, and it was kind of like this constant trying to control me, making sure that I don't get out again because I'm going to go for help from the infidels or something, or like change the first letter of my name or something. Like, they're just like so worried that I'm going to be too westernized. They're going to lose me to the infidels, right? And eventually, I get left in Egypt against my will, totally not aware of the fact that I was going to be left in Egypt, but I was left in Egypt for a couple of years, tried to force me off into a marriage with my cousin, was able to get back to Canada. All of this is like, as you know, you read my book, like I'm totally giving you the Coles notes right now.
Yeah.
Make it back to Canada, and they're still like, how do we control this girl? And then that's when they got the Al Qaeda terrorist. And my mom literally said to me, we found a man who's strong enough to control you. And yeah, so that's when I was head to toe in niqab, imprisoned in the house with him, have to accept that Islamically sanctioned, he's allowed to beat me, he's allowed to rape me, there's nothing I can do about it. And eventually, pretty quickly, had a baby girl. And once I had her, I knew I have to get out of here. Like I can't let her live this same life that I've been living.